Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Tate Mathews. Tate, welcome back.
Glad to be here. Spring sports, full swing, survived the flood, dodging cows in the Cottonwood neighborhood. Would you like to share that? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, that was a little bit different. Had some folks in the neighborhood there that had some cows show up on Sunday morning in the backyard and the front yard and floating out in the water. So
That's crazy.
yeah, fortunately able to rescue some. I mean, I wasn't involved in that part, but able to do some rescue missions and everything worked out. But hope everybody's safe out there. I mean,
No
it's
doubt.
certainly pretty scary. Close to the levels of 2010, I read.
Yeah, very scary. I think, for the most part, Wilco turned out okay. I don't think any of our facilities got beat up too bad. So, but that is, for those that know where Cottonwood is, that is funny that some people woke up and there's cows grazing in their yard. They don't
Funny,
know how
I
they
guess
got
it's
there.
I guess it's your perspective.
How do you go? You know, I know what you do, like when you find a stray dog, you know. What do you do when you find a stray cow in your front yard?
I need to find out.
Maybe our producer can look into that.
Hey, before we talk about those spring sports, a couple of items to discuss. The BCAT All-Star Game, that's the Coaches Association for basketball. We had Delaney Noe of Summit, Amelia Osgood of Brentwood on the girls' side representing with Coach John Wild from Summit coaching. And on the boys' side, Reed Kemp of Franklin, John Winley of Brentwood. So great for them to be involved in that.
Yeah, great for them to be involved of it, and I think it's a great event. The BCAT puts on. It's always at Blackman, but you know, just a lot of cool things. But how cool is it that Reed Kemp and John Winley were teammates, and Delaney and Amelia were teammates, and Coach Wild got to coach them. Jeremy Moore was actually
That's right. I forgot to
old,
mention.
Yep, he
Thank
was your
you.
old buddy Troy Allen's assistant coach on the boys. I think they were Middle Tennessee. They did a little bit differently. There was 2 Middle Tennessee teams in the girls and 1 in the boys. But yeah, I think that's really neat. And I wish there was a way. Talk to Coach Wild about this. I wish there was a way you could have like one practice. Have you ever coached in it?
No.
Would
I
you?
haven't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. You know, I wish they could have gotten one practice in, but great event, pretty cool. Again, John Wild's now coaching Amelia Osgood. I think that's pretty neat.
I bet he did enjoy that. I would like to coach one of those teams on a full-time basis.
He always tweets shooters are allowed to shoot in his program. I bet he let her shoot.
I bet he did too. Plus, what's he going to do to him anyway?
Yeah. Well, I guess you could bench him.
Yeah.
You could do that.
I
Probably wouldn't be asked back.
I doubt anybody do that.
They went 1-1, defeated the West, lost to the East. The East won the thing, and you know. But no, that was the other thing I thought was really cool. This is near and dear to your heart. Reed Kemp, Matthew Schneider, Zion Swader. What do they all have in common?
Missouri Western.
And who is there?
Reese Clever.
You're a pretty big Missouri Western.
Yeah, I am.
They're going to be able to score points.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Had a great year this year too.
No
Made the
doubt.
tournament for the first time in several years. So, yeah, things looking up there at Mo West.
Let's go. The Griffins, right?
That's right. Griff up.
Griff up. Hey, hashtag Griff up.
That's true. Let's talk a little coaching news. Staying on basketball. Great hire for Independence boys basketball. They hire Mark Wilkins, who's just a rising star in basketball. Some people may know the Wilkins name. In fact, it's this week's gem, Tate. Mark, the son of Mitch Wilkins, who's the girls basketball coach at Gibson County. He coached in Missouri for years, coached at Henry County on the boys' side. His 2 brothers also coach in West Tennessee. But the gem is this. In the 2020 tournament, all 4 family members won the district title. Now that's pretty good. Coaching at different schools, obviously.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very, very cool.
And Dad is at Gibson. Mark was at South Gibson.
That's right.
Did a great job there and has done a great job there. And as you well know, that's boys basketball. Is that AA? That's AA, right?
AA, that's right.
That's when you get to the tournament, that's tough basketball there, right?
Very tough. In fact, beat the number 1 team in the state a couple of years ago. I think it was during the season. 112 wins over 6 years, back-to-back district titles in the sectional or sub-state, as you and I like to call it. 3 out of 4 years. So he really, if you're looking at anything that South Gibson's done, he was pretty much a part of it.
No doubt about it. And one brother is the head coach at Huntington. The other is the boys coach and the girls coach at McKenzie. Dad, as you mentioned, Gibson. What I'm saying is it's a basketball family.
Basketball family. And, Coach Wilkins is, he's really custom made for Wilco in my mind. He's great on social media, does it in the right way, does a great job promoting the program. That's one of those hires that the folks in the district probably aren't real excited about, which means it's a good hire.
That's right. Hey, that's good. We want him to be exciting. And hey, the fun thing is he's going to bring an exciting brand of basketball there. Well, they already play an exciting brand of football, so things looking up. Going to be good.
Yeah,
Glad he's here.
Yeah, me too. Does a great job in the classroom too. So excited about Coach Wilkins being a part of WCS. We'll get him on the coach's preview show or the coach's show here pretty soon since he's a new hire.
Let's go. I can't wait.
All right, Tate, let's talk a little baseball. Baseball well underway. And, they do the 2-game series thing. In fact, I was talking to Coach Bourne today. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then I think it's back to Monday. I think that's right. Does that sound right? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, then they play again. Like there's some separation between the Thursday game.
Yeah.
But they're still playing it as if it's back-to-back, so you can't pitch like the same guy. So, anyway.
And this is when they added Page and Spring Hill. That's what got it all, because they used to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They'd play a 3-game, yeah. I don't know how they do it. I know it's you have to be very detailed.
Well, I was going to say in the series that have happened, there were sweeps.
Yep.
Brentwood, Dixon, Indy, Summit are all 2-0. Centennial, Franklin, Page, Spring Hill all 0-2. Ravenwood yet to play a series as of the taping of this show. Lynn, let's talk about some of those games. Brentwood, they take 2 from Centennial, 4-1 and 10-4. Brentwood, Brooks McDonough, winning pitcher in game 1, 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, and only gave up 3 hits. He also had an RBI single. Andrew Billington, a home run in the first inning and a single, so a couple hits for Andrew. Connor Bartley, a triple and 2 RBI, not I's, it's RBI, runs batted in. And then Ben Kaler with a couple of hits. So pretty exciting start there for Brentwood. In Centennial, I think they're an improved team.
Oh, without a doubt they are, yeah. But I think a lot of people have. It's funny that's how it kind of shook out the first series, because I think those top 4 right there, along with Ravenwood, that's kind of how the coaches kind of picked them preseason. So doesn't mean that's how we're going to end up, but the way everybody thought it was going to be this year, that's how it's kind of starting off. But yeah, I mean, Brentwood, I think, is one of those places in baseball they don't rebuild, they reload, and I think you're saying that right there. It's time for the next batch to. It's a great baseball program, and it's time for the next batch to step up. And you're seeing that with Brooks and Andrew and the like. They definitely have some weapons at Brentwood.
Jack Scully with a double and an RBI went 2 for 3 for Centennial. Independence. This is one, and Spring Hill's one of those teams I think that people think are right maybe in that mix. But a sweep for Independence over Spring Hill, 6-5 and 9-1. They had a walk-off win in game 1. In game 2, they scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 6th to take charge of that game. So great job there by Independence, and a big sweep there early in the year over Spring Hill.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have to go back and check. I don't think Independence has been beat yet. They're playing really well. And Will Tobin's another guy. You usually are going to see his name in a big win, and they didn't even need him on the mound in those. So Independence got a lot of firepower as well. So, and you're right, Spring Hill is they got a quality program, and that's kind of a big rivalry too, because they're right down there on the border. So 2 nice wins. Glad to see Jack Boffman have 3 for 4 and 3 doubles. Hot bat.
And wouldn't you say for Spring Hill, that's probably their signature program's baseball?
100%. Back when they were AA, they had a couple of state championships. Now they're up with the big boys, but that's okay. I mean, yes, definitely their signature program.
Logan Molnar, 2 hits, including a home run. Cooper Hargrove was the winning pitcher in Game 2 there for Independence. Page, 2 losses to Dixon, 13-4, 9-6. In Game 2 there, Page was leading 6-3 heading to the 5th, but they just couldn't quite hold on. Cason Walker, Lauren Steele, Kyle Gaffney all had 2 hits. Each had an RBI in a losing cause. Summit, and I thought this was a series I looked at early on. Coach Whidbey, new coach there at Franklin. They've got some younger guys who are now coming of age for Franklin. I thought this would be kind of a litmus test for Franklin. Summit wins 2 tough games, 3-1, 5-3. Summit's another team with Coach Kirby. Just every year you can count on them being there.
Every year, but you're right. I was watching this too. Coach Whidbey's brought some enthusiasm. Not that it wasn't there, but new coach, first-year head coach, and he's excited about it. And so you could tell, no moral victories, but they were pleased with the fact that they were in both of those games. So and then on the page, the losing that 6-3 lead. Dixon County's an experienced team, so better to have those things happen now than later. And remember, we didn't even play last year, so they're really young. Page is really young, so I think you're 0-2. You lost both those series, but I think both Page and Franklin can take a lot of things that they could learn from those 2 series that make them better down the road.
Austin Kincaid of Summit, game-winning hits on both nights. So big-time series there for him. Brady Hendricks got out of a bases-loaded jam to end Game 2 with the strikeout. So, again, Franklin was right there. It's 5-3,
right.
Bases loaded. What's Hendricks do? Comes up with a big strikeout to end Game 2. And in Game 1, I think that one went 9 innings. Big-time pitchers duel. So, really good series there, and Summit coming out on top. Joseph Waters, Franklin, there's another name for you. 2 hits and an RBI for Franklin in Game 2. Drew Whalen, a double and 2 RBI for the Admirals. Let's talk a little softball. Now, here's what surprised me so far in softball. Now, we've only played a few games, but there's been a lot of people with wins and losses. There's nobody really just rolling yet. Brentwood 2-1, Page, Ravenwood, both 1-0. Independence 1-1, Summit 1-1, Franklin 1-2. And to me, the surprise when I look at this, Dixon County 3-0. They're not the Dixon County necessarily of Coach Buchanan there at Independence. So I was a little bit surprised that Dixon started off 3-0.
Do we know who they beat yet?
Spring Hill, Summit, Centennial. So, you could argue that's not necessarily the powers of the league. But the point is, in reading those standings, there's a lot of parity in the league.
A lot of parity in the league, and you're getting ready to mention the one that really shows the parity in the league. I think this score surprised some people.
You're talking Ravenwood, Brent.
Battle of the Woods, yeah. Big win.
Ravenwood 4-2 in that game. There was a 2-out error in the top of the 7th. Scored 2 runs for Brentwood. Lexi Erickson.
Multi-sport athlete.
There's a name we've talked about. She had a single followed by 2 outs before a hit batter, a walk, and then now an error makes the difference. So a tough way to end the game for Coach Powell and Brentwood. But to your point, that's a pretty big win for Ravenwood.
That's a really big win for them. And they didn't even get a Battle of the Woods last year. So that goes back to 2 years ago. Well, Brentwood has been dominating that thing. So, and as we know, Brentwood's hot, starting off hot. Got real hot bats this year so far in the early going. So to hold them to 2 runs, I thought that was a really, really good win, and one that I think they can build on.
Avery Wismer was the winning pitcher, closed out the game with 2 strikeouts in the 7th. She had 12 for the game, so great performance by her. For Brentwood, they did bounce back. They defeated Spring Hill in 9 innings. Emily Cockrell, a complete game, and yes, you've heard it right, her 5th home run of the year.
So they've played 3 games, is this right? Or they're 3? No, they're 2-1 in the district.
That's correct.
There are big time players that get 5 home runs in a season. She's already hit 5. I hope what happened. You remember I don't know if you were quite here yet. Do you remember what happened to Libby Sugg at Franklin? She started off just crushing. They pitched around her the whole year. I hope that doesn't happen here. There's got to be something against that.
Well, I wouldn't blame them. You're going to pitch to Robert Hassel and Libby saw.
I know, but I wish there was something kind of like.
As long as they're on our team, we wish they could.
Yeah, right. That's why we need a shot clock. I wish there was something we could do about that, man. Let's own up. Throw it down there. No, I would not pitch to her at all. But I hope that doesn't happen.
Paige, this one surprised me a little bit in terms of the score. Paige 8-0 over Independence. Shelby Buffington with a one-hit shutout for Paige. They score 7 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Jenna Adkisson 3 for 3 on the day with an RBI.
Nice win. Independence is one of the ones that they picked up towards the top of the league. So good win by Paige early on.
Some more scores of interest during the week. Fairview with the shootout, 14-12 win for Coach Jones over Centennial Franklin. Coach Whidbey, her first district win as the softball coach there at Franklin. Husband and wife duo there.
Correct.
11-6 win over Centennial. But then Centennial bounces back and they get an 8-4 district win over Ravenwood.
Great win for Coach Serbin. Texted him that, hey man, that was a big time win. Yes, it was. Very happy for the girls. You're right. Good
No
win
doubt
for
about
them. And there's some of your parity right there. Ravenwood beats Brentwood. Centennial beats Ravenwood. I like it. That's what we want.
Nolensville, Big 10-0 win over Murfreesboro Central Magnet. And Tate, I think Coach Brees just called in.
He did.
We're getting Mr. Producer and Lance. They're giving me some information here saying.
Oh, fact checking.
Saying technically speaking, it would be ours BI, but you don't really do that with an acronym. So RBIs is pretty much
RBIs is what they go
is
with.
accepted, even though technically it's not really
so
right.
So what are you telling me?
We're just going to go with RBIs. Or I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a protest. I'm just going to say RBI the rest of the.
Well, kind of like remember when Battle of the Woods, you know? I'm not so sure anybody really knows the right answer to that. R's, B's, I's?
Yeah, let's do that. Because it'd be runs. It's a run batted in, right?
No, I get it.
So if you were going to do plural, it would be R's, B-I, but because it's an acronym, right? It's anyway.
Bob Euchre?
We digress.
Hang on. Being told it's RBIs.
Being told, let's get the clown show going here.
Hang on. If you know, you know.
Let's talk a little soccer. Battle of the Woods, 2-2 draw between Brentwood and Ravenwood. Goals for Ravenwood by Nick Dane and Jonah Magdy. For Brentwood, Reed McAdams and Ryan Hayes. That was a big matchup early in the year, and nothing really comes of it, right? Although, it could make a difference if you get some ties later on down the line in terms of the league.
Yeah, that one could be a. That one could come back, yes, and be important. Here's what I love about Ravenwood, man. Love them all. But Nick Dane, where else do you see basketball player, boys soccer player, girls basketball player, softball? That happens a little bit. Where else do you see a boys basketball player / Ravenwood? And then my man who I mention all the time, you'll be hearing about him, Little Gaynor, Evan Gaynor. He's a soccer player too. Yeah. I love that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nick Dang was a pretty dang good basketball player.
Yes, and it really makes a lot of sense for that sport because of the movement.
That's right.
And the court vision or the field vision, I'm sure there's some similarities there.
Yeah, see the field.
Now, here's another one that, again, it's kind of like with Centennial softball. Page gets a 1-0 win over Summit, and they tie Ravenwood. That's a pretty good result right there. Don't count Page out for sure.
Do not sleep on the Patriots.
No, when you're talking about in their league, let me tell you, they're gonna be there.
And here's now that we're on our bones.
Here we go.
Soccer. It's no one's fault, but we went to the state tournament, to the girls' state tournament game. You saw what that was like, man. There's too many ties in regular season soccer. I get it. We want to save their legs, but still, you've already mentioned 2 ties.
No, I'd like to see a winner.
And I think they would too.
Yeah, definitely would.
So the overtime periods, I realize we need to save their legs. Let's just go straight to the shoot.
I would love that personally, but I've been told by soccer coaches they actually hate that because it seems kind of a random.
Is it? At least we know who won.
Yeah, and plus you got to do it in the tournament.
That's right.
So you may as well practice for it, right?
That's right.
So it's a little bit different.
Maybe we're on to something there.
Well, I don't know. It may be like RSBI.
RSB's eyes. Who has the all-time RSB eyes?
That's fantastic. Hey, Tate.
Hang on.
March Madness. March Madness at Ravenwood. Big time event there.
Big time event.
Lots of dual sport athletes there. And it was a 12-school event, 8 WCS schools. And in the 36 events, WCS, which again, 8 out of 12 schools, I know it's most of the schools, but every event but 2 was actually won by a WCS team.
Dang right, and here's something that better raise eyebrows, boys and girls. Brentwood girls win the girls' side of it with a total points of 201. To put that in perspective for you, Ravenwood was number 2 with 99. Both the Bruins teams are going to be really good in track this year, but Coach Brock, he will tell you, this girls' team is really, really good. And don't think people didn't notice how easily they won that meet.
You know, something else that stood out to me in looking at the boys and girls, you mentioned the boys won as well. 165 first, second was Franklin with 97, but third in both.
Yeah.
Nolensville. So great showing by them.
Great showing by them. It'll make them better, and they're going to make noise in the AAA meet on both sides.
Independence on the girls' side finishes 4th, Franklin 5th, Centennial 6th, Summit 7th, Page 8th on the boys' side. Again, we mentioned Brentwood 1st, Franklin 2nd, Nolensville 3rd, Indy 4th, Ravenwood 5th, Page 7th, Summit 9th, Centennial 10th. And again, looking at this, there's some names that sort of stood out, some names that you recognize and remember. The Vanderkolks are at it again from Brentwood.
Goodness.
The 1600 and 3200, Caitlin and brother Kevin both win those events for Brentwood. So great events for them.
Yes, I would say you're going to get used to that. You're going to see a lot of that this year, and that, you know, it's just going to mirror across country, you know. But that's what's so cool about watching the Brentwood track teams is what they, and a lot of this you were talking about the team standings, like Centennial. That's a numbers thing, right? We got to. It's kind of like wrestling. We got to get the numbers up first before we can start winning these meets. But what's been fun to watch with Brentwood, especially on the boys' side, what they always did was they'd field event you and distance run you to death, and they'd accumulate so many points. Well, now, you know, they've got people making noise in the sprints and in the sprint relays. And that's what they've been doing on both sides. So it's going to be tough to catch up with them. But again, you got to get the numbers up to even come close to those two in the team standings. But the Vanderkolks, get used to it. They're going to keep winning the mile and 2 mile.
Alyssa Arkava from Ravenwood, she wins the 100 and 200. And something that you and I talked about before, the relay events. On the girls' side, Brentwood wins 3 out of 4 of those events. Ravenwood wins 1 of the 4. Again, events that they're traditionally strong in.
Correct. And let me say this. I'd like to know what you think of this too. You know, everyone's always called the 400 the tough man event or tough woman event, which it is. But I disagree. Maybe it's not in all track meets. I think the toughest event is the 300 hurdles.
And why do you say that?
Because it's a 300 and you're jumping over. You got to be, it's a sprint over hurdles, and it's a 300 sprint. So Georgia Cockrum of Summit High School, and then Patrick Lamar of Franklin High School. Shout out to them. I think that's the toughest event in the meet. Your thoughts?
Well, you just won some people over, didn't you? You just that's pretty good. Good move on your part.
Go try to jump 3 hurdles.
Right. Much less sprinting it. Yeah. I think it's a great argument. I really do.
Yeah.
Hey, how about on the boys' side? Independence wins 2 of the 4 relays.
Yep.
Nolensville wins the 4x100, Brentwood the 4x8, but then Independence wins the 4x2, the 4x4. Again, events that they've traditionally been strong in.
Right. They've always had really good sprint teams in Independence.
Tate, great start to our spring sports connection. Glad to mention some of these athletes. And we talked about this before. The spring is so busy. And we'll get tennis. Tennis is going to get up and rolling too. So we'll have some tennis to talk about as we progress.
It's going to be fun, man. And like I said, won't be long. We'll be talking spring football. I know they're already starting to get the helmets out a little bit, and it's exciting, man. It won't be long. Any Wilco news, like or to be determined? I'm sure that's looming. I know everybody's excited about that. Spring's an exciting time.
You can just book it. That's happening.
Book it.
Hey, by the way, I did want to mention this. Speaking of clown show, your pick of Abilene Christian to win it all actually did not come through, and I picked Iowa. So,
hey, you know what? I went back
It's a
and looked.
total-
I think at the taping of the show, Abilene was already out. Were they or no? But
no, they weren't. They weren't out. They weren't out, but they were well on their way. But my pick's no better. Iowa won one game as well. They got beat by 15 by Oregon. So much for those
what's
picks.
the world coming to?
Well, I just get tired. I mean, I'm not tired of it, but everybody thinks Gonzaga is going to win, and they probably will, by the way. But
I saw a little Gonzaga hate on Twitter. What this weekend? What's that coming from? Like they run their program, I would think, the right way.
so I think they've run. I think what happens anytime somebody's that dominant the way they've been, people don't like it. And the last team to go undefeated and win the national title in men's basketball?
Indiana and Coach Bob Knight? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hoosiers,
That's
baby.
right, 1976.
Yep, I knew that.
1976. So,
Transformational. You think Bob Knight was a transformational coach?
well, you did what he wanted you to do. If that's what you want to call transformational.
Golly. I got a great Bob Knight story for off air.
Let's make sure it's off there.
Off air.
We appreciate everybody joining us this week. Looking forward to next week talking more spring sports on Sports Connection.